Captain's Log, Episode 65. This week's episode of the Beervengers podcast is sponsored by the Beer and Cheese Collective, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Celebrate the amazing women making beer and cider at the second annual Boss Lady Brews on Saturday, October 15th, only at the Beer and Cheese Collective. Tickets now available until they're not. Enjoy the eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at the Beer and Cheese Collective. On this week's 8-Pour Beercast, Captain Huck and the Beer Wonder welcome back guest Beervenger, Dr. Bruce Beernerd / The Incredulous Bulk. All four of us have recently traveled outside our designated Beervenger regions, and we have lots of great road stories. Listen to find out where we went, and stay to the end to find out about our upcoming international adventures. Remember to like, star, and subscribe whenever that feels appropriate. And send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 65, Traveling Beervengers.
Oh, we're the Beervengers, Beervengers, Beervengers. We're the Beervengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brownstout.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the Central Valley of California, this is the Pale Male Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the County of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder!
From the secret basement lab in Dayton, Ohio, I am Dr. Bruce Beernerd, the Incredulous Bulk.
And we are kind of lost the thread a little there, but it all came together in a wonderful.
It was a rough one. It was a rough one. I'm going to be honest, guys. Oh,
it's our MO, though.
We got stuck. We got stuck.
And if you're still with us, thank you for I
Yes.
promise that'll be that could be just the start of things to come. You never know. That's why you sign up. That's the wonder. It's the wonderment of the improvisational dialogue that is the Beervengers. Who wants to listen to something scripted? You might as well listen to a book on tape. We are welcome to the Beervenger sphere, all of you, the Beercast, our usuals, as well as our special guest Beervenger, Dr. Bruce Beernerd, aka the Incredulous Bulk. Welcome back, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. Hello, everyone.
Hello. So it's been it's always a pleasure. I should say, you're listening here. If you're listening, you're very dedicated, and we apologize for not having done this for a month or so. And to make up for it, we'll probably take another month off after this one.
Yeah, that's how we do. That's sort of like our MO. It's the Beervenger way. We have to do important research, and that takes time. Okay.
It certainly does. Thanks for that wonderful punctuation there on the UCUC. That was a really nice touch to the Beervengers announcement.
Always a pleasure to be able to play live here at the Beervengers podcast.
The Beervengers podcast.
Just a pleasure to be a Beervenger.
It's very seductive.
It is
very seductive of you there, Huck. I'm feeling the romance starting already.
There's no more romantic instrument than the ukulele.
That truer words have never been spoken.
To add to the pleasures, of course, we're coming to you from multiple states once again tonight, and within those states and without those states, we've all been doing a lot of traveling. So we're going to tell you all about those various things and some other things that I'm keeping terrible notes here. I don't know what else we're going to talk about, but I think we'll probably find something because we usually do.
Yeah, we'll fill the hour if nothing else.
Yes. We will do that.
And one thing that I think we could talk about is drinking a beer.
You want to do that, Huck?
Capital idea.
Is that something you'd like to do? I don't know. Like, guys, I don't know. I'm like 50-50 today. Like, do
Oh
we
my
really
God.
need to have a beer?
I'm not driving tonight, so
No? Okay.
have
Well,
a dri- I
then
have a
that
driver.
tears it. I think we
I
should.
guess
Yeah.
I guess that decides what's going on. And then there's the
Sure,
age-old
sure.
question, though. This is a problem because here's the thing: Dr. Beer Nerd, Incredulous Bulk, astute
yes.
among us, has been here a lot. So,
True.
like,
He has.
do we really consider him a special guest, or is he just part of the family now?
Can't he be
let's
both?
go ahead and say both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing shoes. Does that help? I'm no. No?
Well, yes,
I'm
just
not
like
wearing
this.
shoes
Yeah,
either.
well, we appreciate
Okay,
that.
yeah.
We appreciate that.
You
It's
took
not
off your shoes
required.
before you came in, so you
Exactly.
feel like a guest. I see. I understand. Okay.
Or I feel like I'm at home and never put them on. It's once again still ambiguous.
Please,
Either
guys.
way, I
Open a
do
beer.
feel like it would be polite
Yeah.
if we let Bulk go first.
I think it is a general rule of thumb that whoever's been on the show the least is always the special guest.
That makes sense. I get that.
Okay.
I get
okay.
that.
So even though this is what fourth, fifth time, because the
This
last
is
one was a
fourth, I
two-parter.
think.
That's going to
Yeah,
leave me
sounds
open
right.
to a lot of first beers.
Excellent. All right. Yes, Doctor Beer Nerd. What do you have?
Tonight I have a Trotwood lager from our
Ooh.
local Warped Wing with lime. So Trotwood is a very unpretentious American light lager, Pilsner tradition. This one comes with lime in the can. This is sort of my farewell to summer. Not that I'll drink my favorite beers any time of year,
Of course.
but this one is especially nice in the warmer weather, and it's my last one. So I thought
There you
tonight
go.
would be a good occasion. So
Well,
Lovely.
listen. Oh, yeah,
Oh, no, try it again.
Didn't
Go
quite
for it.
catch it.
yeah. All right.
There
Oh,
we
it's
go.
it was the
Yeah.
gentlest
Subtle.
crack.
It
Subtle.
was
It's just
a very
gentle.
gentle crack.
Yeah.
You know what I love about this beer is that it's kind of like the craft version of Beer Wonder's favorite macro beer.
I know. It's very. I'm feeling my heart is being warmed
Yeah,
by
can you
the
hold it up a
return
little?
of
Yeah.
a light lime.
We're doing
And,
that.
and,
Yeah.
and, and it looks so clear and so clean. I honestly feel like I should be running down to my bodega to get that Bood Light Lime that we learned about last time, just to be a part of this collection here.
Well,
There
that's quite
is
beautiful.
definitely a similarity in flavor profile. I have no trouble saying I prefer this one.
Okay.
No worries there.
There you go.
So, it's been so long. I don't remember protocol. Do I have a sip? Or do we wait? Do I wait for?
You
my
can certainly have a
companions?
sip.
Have
We
a
won't
sip, but
toast
don't
yet.
tell us that you're having
Yeah.
it.
No, we won't toast quite yet.
But now we
All
got to
right.
figure out who's
I
going
know.
next.
Well, I guess
Oh,
it is youth on
is
show
lovely.
before beauty. So, Huck, I think you're up.
Youth on show before.
Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I have a nice beer. This is from Morgan Territory. I try to have different. I tend to buy from the same brewery, so I have bought a lot from Morgan Territory, but I don't think I've had them on the show before. They're out of Tracy,
Oh, cool.
California. This is called Dark Reckoning. It's an imperial porter, made in the Baltic porter style.
Ooh.
So 8%
Wow.
alcohol. Should be nice. Let's take a look.
Oh, and in a beautiful, potentially pilfered glass from
Got
our
my
friends at
Finback glass.
Finback.
It's a Harmony glass.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
That's
look at that
beautiful.
head retention there. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful, like chocolatey color, but also the gradient on the head gets lighter as it goes up towards the top. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
And it was
sure
a perfect
is.
pour there,
Good
Huck.
observation.
Mhm.
All right. I would say Beer Wonder. What do you got?
Oh, me. Well, here's the thing. Tonight, I am drinking a
Sponsored pour.
sponsored pour, yes, from our friends at the Beer and Cheese Collective in Astoria, Queens. You know them. We love them. You should love them too if you don't already. But this is a little off-brand for the Beer Wonder.
All right, then.
Okay, because
I'm
tonight
curious.
I will be enjoying a porter. The
Ooh.
Passaic Porter from our friends at Ross Brewing in Monmouth County, New Jersey. Now, this is a honey
wow.
porter that is inspired by the Passaic River. So very excited about this one. It's got all sorts of good flavors in it, so we'll see how this turns out. But as our longtime listeners know, don't do a lot of these, so it's an exciting night, and I'm excited for this one. So,
Very good.
okay.
Good sound on that aluminum.
Very assertive snap
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, I got the official glass there.
It's going to make the logo look so pretty too.
See some nice
it sure
darkness
is, yeah.
there, and a nice, a very healthy head for a porter, much like mine.
Yep.
Hanging
It
in
is
there.
a
Got nice,
6.1, so it's not the boldest of porters we've had necessarily, but
you
it is
said
a good
honey
looking one.
porter, right?
Honey porter, yep. And and the aromas off the nose are outstanding.
Yeah,
All right.
I believe I ordered that one once from Tap Room, or
I
it's
believe so.
often called Tap RM.
Yes. Only the classes. Well, it is definitely a local one. I'm excited to check it out. Captain.
That's two.
All right,
porters.
yes.
What do you say, Cap?
All right. Well, to the great surprise of
Wait.
all gathered, I also have a
Sponsored pour.
That's right, a sponsored pour from the Beer and Cheese Collective, Astoria, that's on 35-11
what are the odds?
Boulevard. Yeah,
I
exactly.
am surprised,
Now this
actually.
Shocking.
this is a new beer for me. It's from Front Porch Brewing, but distributed
Oh.
by 12% in Connecticut. The brewery is also in Connecticut.
Nice.
This is called Neil's Donuts.
Oh.
Now they don't have a lot of information on their website because they're just about as good as disseminating information as I am at promoting this podcast and getting people to know we
nice.
exist.
Very
But so I had to do a little bit of research. Apparently, Neil's Donuts is a place in Wallingford, Connecticut. And even though it doesn't say so on the can, I believe that this is inspired by their Samoa donut, which also appears to be inspired by the Samoa Girl Scout cookies. Because if you notice, this person who I assume is Neil on here, he's wearing sort of a Girl Scout cap there. And the cookie and the donut he's clutching looks very much like a Samoa. On top of that, it says brewed with donuts, cacao nibs, caramel, and coconut. So I think we can assume that this beer is indeed the Samoa Neil's Donuts Imperial Stout at a nice 10% ABV. All right, so let's take a look at this.
Woof. Okay, I'm expecting
not having
a good pour on this.
A lot of Connecticut.
That is true. Oh wow,
Ooh.
that is a dark beer. That is a very dark beer.
Thin
no head,
chunky.
No,
life there at the end.
All right, there we go,
thin.
and
chunky.
There we are.
Oh, look at that!
I like my beers chunky. All right.
All right, the time has come.
Folks.
Raise a glass, Beervengers. All right, cheers.
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 Let's have our moment of drinking. Here we go.
Oh yeah, that is definitely a tradition of the pastry stout.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, we're all taking
very
it back
sweet
here.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of enjoying it. It's the same as it ever is.
Well,
it's easy to forget how nice a porter, or a Pils or a American Light can be if it's got nothing in the way. So,
a well-made American Pils is good. Now, I'm curious how intense the lime flavor is on this one.
The lime is big. It actually is dominant in the front, and then we finish more malty smooth. So, and it is a very tart lime, not a bitter one. So, I'm pleased with it all around. I think they do a good job. So.
Yeah, this says to me that the next time I'm in Dayton with a checked bag, I will try and bring Beer Wonder back some of that stuff.
Thank you. You're trying to elevate me
compare
slightly.
it to the Bud Light with lime. Well, I'm curious. It's always interesting. Like that's not the only beer like that I've seen in Dayton, because that one place you took me to about a year ago, Nipcock, they have their Pat's Blue Ribbon. So yeah.
Yeah. And the Warped Wing, who makes this one, also did. This is a first for me. They do a Italian style lager called
I love that.
And I have never liked an Italian lager before, despite my ethnic background. They've always seemed to me a little off, a little skunky, and like, I've never had a fresh one. And this is a very, very tasty, very light, very crisp, ephemeral sort of beer. It's on the palate and it goes away. But for the first time, kind of fell in love with an Italian lager. Style.
Very good.
Love it. Yeah, I've had a lot of good Italian style Pilsners of late. The American craft beers are making the Italian style Pilsners, but they can be very good.
Well, they can't all be double dry.
I can still dig a Peroni. I can dig a Peroni sometimes.
Yeah, a Peroni has its place, its time. It's refreshing on a hot summer day. I would actually add lime to it, and that would probably be a step closer to my Bud Light lime. The Italians would kill me for that, but you know.
Yeah, you put a Ciotto in there, and then you'd be very Italian.
Perfect. See, The doctor knows.
I do want to hear a little more about Huck's Imperial Porter there.
Yeah, it's an imperial porter brewed in the Baltic style with intense flavors of toffee, dark fruit, star anise, and chocolate. The
Ooh.
intense flavors are
Wow.
tempered by smooth lager style fermentation, while noble hops finish a beer that is made for sipping. We're
And
not big on sipping here. At
is
the
that
Beer
accurate?
Yeah. There is a booziness, but it's very subtle, just on
Mm,
the finish.
okay.
Really nice
Does it?
chocolate toffee notes on the nose, and it's just a smooth drinking beer. I love the purity of it. When there's just
Mm,
the. I mean, I don't know if this is. They're not adding chocolate. It's just it's made in this style. The flavors are toffee and dark fruit. But
mm.
yeah, it's a real nice Baltic porter. They're not calling it they call it Imperial Porter, but I don't know. But I've
Hmm.
never been let down by Morgan Territory out of Tracy, California. Right, it's about 2.5 hours from here. No, it's less than that. It's less than 2 hours from here. Tracy, I want to go up there, but Morgan Territory, yeah, it's a great brewery, and they make real nice dark beers. But I've also had a couple good IPAs and good lagers from them.
How subtle is the anus?
I'm not getting.
I'm sorry, anise.
I mean, I
You
don't.
did say there was some star
Oh,
anise in there.
Captain.
Star anise.
There's
Oh,
a
Captain. My Captain.
there's a little bit of a almost a slight sour bitterness on the
Okay.
mouthfeel, but it's a smooth finish and it's really not very boozy. It's just I get more of the dark fruit really.
Hmm.
It's excellent. I mean, it's really done well. They do a great job with these. Dark Reckoning. It's got a really cool can with this sort of starlights of skulls, and you can see the ship
Yeah,
sailing
some
in the
nice
night.
artwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gorgeous. Well, you don't have any added chocolate. I definitely have added chocolate in my
Oh, is
beer.
that right?
Yeah.
100%. Yes. So this one, apparently, the honey porter that I'm enjoying from our friends at Ross Brewing, is it. So if you take a look at the can here, you'll see there's like a blue, like thing that's on the front of it. It is this apparently is the Passaic River, which you can
Oh,
find in
nice.
Monmouth
Yeah.
County, New Jersey. And they say that the Honey Porter is inspired by the Passaic River, a hardworking beer, a hardworking river. I do want to note that it is a 34 on the SRM chart, and so I'm hoping this is not the color of the Passaic River.
Oh gosh.
And I'm hoping that's not where the inspiration came from. I'm hoping that it's like the porters historically were people who worked on the river, and this was the beer that they drank. Like I'm hoping that that's what the connection is,
River
because
Porters. Yeah.
exactly. If this is, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's not like you could pour this beer into the river and it would look the same color.
No.
But it's a delicious beer. It is made with local Monmouth County grown wildflower honey. So you definitely get that sweetness off of it. I get that really up at the front. And they have added Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans and Peruvian cacao nibs. This is probably the creamiest beer I've ever had on the beer cast. It has like a nice velvety mouthfeel to it, and it's only about 6.1%, so you could probably go through a couple of these. It is a slight bit hoppy. It does hit with a little bite at the end for me, which I really like. But the nose is 100% bourbon vanilla chocolate. It's all that stuff right there, and then it's like this sweet smoothness to it. I'm For someone who doesn't drink a lot of porters, definitely a fan. And I am impressed that 3 of the 4 of our beers tonight, I believe, are porters. Yes. Well, one's a stout.
Captain's
Mine's
got
a stout.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we're definitely off to a nice start with these. I will say I've got to be completely honest because I know I've been
Yeah.
railing a little bit against the pastry stout these days,
Yeah.
and
Uh-oh.
this is one of the beers. This is in the style. It's well done, but it is very sweet. I
Okay.
would say of all those, I mean, it's not surprising if it's based on a Girl Scout cookie. I've tasted some that are a little more subtle, but definitely I feel the caramel is so strong. It really sort of tamps down. The chocolate is there, and I barely taste the coconut so far.
Ooh.
But I
Wow.
mean, it's nice. It's warming. It's good, but
Yeah.
it's hard to focus on much of anything because the caramel is so much. It's just that it's just so sweet.
Uh-huh.
That I mean, the more I taste it, I'm getting more of the chocolate, the cacao nibs, but yeah, the coconut is really, really subtle.
Nice.
Yeah, I was trying to think what I had before from Morgan Territory. I had their Highland Marauder, which was a Scotch ale, which is similar to this, but again, it's right on the money. They just are really good with these big styles. So I'm pretty happy with this brewery, and I hope to visit them soon up in Tracy. But I've only been here 4
How
months.
far is
now,
that
so
for you, Huck?
It's not far at all. I would say 2 hours.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not
2
bad.
hours. Yeah,
Drive 2
maybe even a
hours for
little bit
beer.
less.
I mean, we've stood in lines in Gotham City for longer, so
We
Well, the
certainly
great
have.
thing is that I go up to Mom's house in Walnut Creek, so that's on Tracy's on the way back. So one of these
oh,
days we're going to stop there, get some Morgan territory. Maybe this weekend. Actually, I'm going up to
oh,
San Jose this weekend. So
I mean, that's the nice thing about having a car is you can always map. Like, if I have to go to this place, then here are all the other places I can make side trips to without getting too out of my way.
that's
one
true.
thing I love about the Central Valley that people don't really talk about, it's flat. It's like I love that. I love
I
that about
see.
roads.
When you
They're
don't have
just
to go up a hill.
wide
Yeah.
open and just straight away. I just love that.
So it's basically in the bottom of the valley.
Yeah, well, the whole
I
valley.
mean, they call it a
is-
valley. Valley, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it's massive. It's the big valley.
Right.
It's the Central Valley.
So you're in a
It's-
big flat section of the valley.
Yeah, for sure. And there's mountains like very close by. I can go up 6,000 feet in an hour
All
Oh.
right.
from the
You
house.
just
So
choose not
it's-
to.
no, we've done it a couple times, but yeah, there's no breweries up there.
And
I
also,
also live in a
that takes
large
away
valley.
from the flat.
Takes away from the flat. I really enjoy that. Well, the road up to the mountain is pretty curvy and certainly vertical. But yeah, I just love driving in flat lands. I just love it. Like Arizona is another place where it's I just love it.
I
It
just
feels
love
so
the
good.
idea of of Cider Girl suggesting a place that, you go that's a little up further the mountain, and you're just saying, can't we just stay where it's flat? I like it
Yeah.
here where it's flat.
I kind of prefer the flatlands. We just did that. We went up to San Rafael, which is up in the Marin County, north of San Francisco, and that's nothing but
Yeah.
hills up there. And in
Yeah.
fact, her cousin, we go to their house. They live on the top of a hill, and you drive this insane road like that circles around it. And of course, when you get up there, they have a beautiful view from their home. But it's like, don't forget your keys. Don't forget your sunglasses. They're going up and down that hill. I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that every day.
It
So
feels like if you're on a
Fresno,
fourth.
surprisingly. Go ahead.
Feels like if you're on a fourth floor walk up here in Gotham, where
Yeah.
like it's that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Where once you get to the top of the mountain, you're going to stay there.
Yeah.
Right on. There we go.
I
Yeah,
also
enjoying
live
this
in a
beer.
large
It's very
valley.
nice.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go. So
Yeah.
bulk
But,
lives where it's flat.
Yes, and that's with the flat part of the valley. Except when we go out of this valley, we get to more flat. So it's a hole in a moraine rather than the mountains and the surrounding lowland. So yeah, it's just like a little bump up, and then there's a lot more flat. You can
More
go for a very long
flatland.
way.
I love it.
The Miami Valley.
Yes, yeah.
Ah.
Oh,
My
not
wife
to be
went
confused
school
with.
in Miami of Ohio. She's got her master's degree.
Right, Miami, the city of Miami, or the university, or is it?
It's a
Is that
different
actually
town.
in Miami, Ohio?
Oxford,
The-
Ohio is the
Okay,
town
it's in
that
Oxford,
surrounds.
Ohio.
Yeah. Yep.
But it is not actually in the Miami Valley. Interestingly enough,
It is.
it is.
Right,
Oh,
it is,
I
but yeah,
I guess the Miami Valley is broader than I thought. Having
It's
grown
broad
up there,
and very flat. Yeah.
I guess this sort of things you learn when you
Yeah.
stay. Yeah.
Eventually, someone will
All right.
corny and point this out. So for you, it happened today.
Isn't that lovely? So I mean, Miami is just confusing for everybody. But speaking of Miami, which is a far distance from all of us, I do believe that the Beervengers have been on the road a bit more than usual. I mean, usually we've got like little excursions, but it does feel like all four of us have actually been doing important research across this great country we call America.
We certainly
in
have,
the
and
last-
that's certainly
in the
part
last
of the
few
reason.
weeks.
That helps to explain why we haven't been on in a month. That we've been busy, but we've also been going to various corners doing very intense beer research just for you, our fellow Beervengers out there in the world.
Essential
Yeah.
research. Well,
And
I'd love to hear where people have been
That's what I was
during
gonna
all of
say.
this time. Yeah, Huck. So you and I, we think
Where did we
alike. We think
go?
alike. Where exactly
Where
did everybody
did
go?
we
Well,
go?
There was a monumental
I-
one though that I feel like we should really. It's part of the reason that the Incredulous Bulk is here. There was like a very big important beer event that happened that we do need to discuss.
Should we start with that one? Okay, yeah, I didn't know if you were
mean,
going to go chronologically or what. No, yeah, that makes sense. Sure. So I recently, as I announced on the last show, went back to Ohio for the momentous event that regular listeners know we've been talking about since the first time we had the doctor on. Is
Yes.
the Dayton Golden Mile, the 12-hour beer crawl inspired by the movie The World's End. And this year was a wonderful time as well. Had a great time there. Although the doctor was had some traveling himself to do the next day, so he took it a little easier than usual this year.
Yeah, all the walking, half the beer. Probably not
There
my
you go.
favorite arrangement. I'd rather do it the other way around, but needs must. So I wasn't going to miss it.
It's very true. Now,
Nice.
did you do the entire mile? Were we successful?
Yes. Well, again, for me, it was all of the walking. But
Yes.
the captain absolutely made up for my lack, and did it the full measure at every stop, and possibly
Yes.
a bonus. I think there was a bonus at one. I think.
We talked about maybe doing, but I don't think we actually did one, because the thing is that one of the stops for the first time ever on the Golden Mile was a hybrid stop. It could be either Trolley Stop or Lucky's. Honestly, I love Trolley Stop. It has a lot of wonderful nostalgic memories for me, but the beer list at Lucky's is just more to my liking. Especially because we haven't gotten a lot of New Holland beer in New York in a while. I just haven't seen it. And one of my very
Interesting.
favorite beers of theirs is the Dragon's Milk. And that's what I had at Lucky's. And I was really
Classic.
happy to have that. I actually wound up having 3 New Holland beers over the course of the day. Went all the way to Dayton, and three of my 12 beers were Michigan beers. But it's not just
Well-
about. It's still local enough.
For sure.
The Dayton craft scene is doing okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. In fact, I noticed. If any of you out there were following our Instagram feed, if you weren't, it's all still on there. Took a picture of the bar and the beer I had at each one of the stops, and the doctor's in a few of those pictures. So if you really, but did you have a favorite experience this year as far as you went, Doctor?
Yeah, it's hard to. They're kind of all favorites, I guess. But Branch and Bone had, I think, my favorite beer of the run I got there. Uh, Not the Kratzer. Oh, geez, I'm dropping.
I
the
can
word.
look it up because I think we had the same thing there.
We did, yeah. This is horrible in that it really was my favorite taste.
It was
and
a
yet
really
I could
fantastic
not order it again without checking my
barrel
notes.
aged imperial stout.
So
But yeah, we
good.
will get to what that is. But that was a really great beer. And while we're looking at the notes, I'll mention a couple of other places. The Troll Pub, also known as the Troll Pube. We put that sign online because it's called the Troll Pub, but they have a little sort of curlicue next to it. So the sign, absolutely, as the doctor pointed out to me, looks like Troll Pube. And so once you see that, you can't call it anything else.
As it should be.
But that was a nice one. But I also there were a couple of
like
other new
something out of the
spots this
movie.
year. Yeah, there was Mudlick, and what was that sort of like adult entertainment place we went to? Not that kind of adult entertainment.
Oh,
Meaning like
What
video
kind of crawl
games
is
and
this?
axe. I'm talking about like video games and axe throwing and
Sure.
skee ball
It's like the Dave and
I mean-
Buster's sort of model, right?
right,
For
child
grown-ups,
entertainment
but
for
games.
adults. Yes,
got
yes,
it.
yes.
Barcade
Nah,
kind of thing.
We got to put the shovel down. Child entertainment for adults is not better. Anyway, Too
Okay.
Social was the name of the place, and I like the place, but I didn't find their beer selection to be remarkable, and that was one of the ones I sat out. But I did find they made fresh squeezed lemonade, lemon shake up in the fashion of the boardwalk or amusement park, and that was just perfectly on point. So
Very nice.
for a place to not have a beer, not that they had bad stuff, just it was very nice that they had this specialty of their own. So
Yeah.
Lovely.
I mean, I do. Last year, you took us to the Canal Street Arcade, which had kind of a similar vibe, but I kind of preferred that. But this was what's the name of this place again? Since I'm
Too Social.
Too
the number
social.
two.
Yeah. It wasn't
Not the
wasn't
digit,
bad.
TWO social. Yeah.
And I believe when I was there, I had the golden version of the Dragon's Milk, which is just sort of, it's like one of those sort of white stouts that we've been seeing every once in a while. All right, I have the name of the one we had at Branch and Bone. It is the Bourbon Barrel Aged Elder Beast.
The Elder Beast, yes.
Elder Beast. Yeah. I'd like to hear more about this white stout. What?
I know. Yeah,
that
this
like?
is intriguing.
Well, have you ever seen these like a coffee blonde?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
They're
where
delicious.
Where like it tastes. I mean, I still think I would probably take the regular Dragon Milk Stout over it, but it had a really nice taste to it. It's one of those things where I can't tell you how much more I would have enjoyed it if I was wearing a blindfold, because it is it is weird looking at this like amber ale that sort of has that sort of chocolatey bourbony taste to it. But it was I enjoyed it though.
Well, we eat with our eyes, and that's proof positive on that one.
That is certainly true.
I once had a carrot amber sour stout.
Ooh.
Carrot amber stout.
That was obviously from Evil Twin Brewing.
It's a lot happening there.
It sounds like
clearly.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't great, but I appreciated the effort.
Was it like a chocolate covered carrot?
I mean, it was very orange.
Yeah.
Like carrot orange.
Oh, so it was okay. So it was a carrot.
Not a stout colored.
Did it taste stouty at all?
And it was good. It was good, but it was a little crazy back in the day.
All right.
Yep.
Back in the day when things were getting nuts with carrot beers.
Back in the day being 2018.
Well, that honestly was a lifetime ago at this point.
It really it's the before times, man.
But I was actually wondering about the Father Brown Stout, whether how long he participated.
He was with us through the third stop.
Oh, very good.
Picked back up at the end at the Barrel House.
Actually picked up for the last two. He met us at Dayton Beer Company.
Yeah, he knows.
He is a wise Beervenger. Knows what's going to work and what's foolishness, and he lets us do the foolishness, and then comes back around the end and gets the captain home safely. So
yes, that's the bonus. That's the bonus. Is he functions? He's a great designated driver for that pattern as well.
I had the bizarre experience of being able to drive home from the Golden Mile this time. It was a first.
Well, look at you.
It was that
being responsible. Yeah. Being responsible. I'm proud of you. Now, I do have to ask, because every time we do check in, I do need to check in. And I know it was not part of the mile this year. So, but how are things at Blind Bob's?
Still going strong. One of the reasons why, and I didn't do much of the planning for the Golden Mile this year, family stuff and busy and that sort of thing. So
gotcha.
It was kind of time to see, can it stand on its own with others? Yes, that's nice.
Okay.
So, but we talked about Blind Bob's in particular. They've kind of backed off from their craft beer prominence, going for more. They have some locals, but a lot of the macros. And their own bar, which their cocktail bar game is on point, and their food is kind of their feature. So it's a great venue. They're doing just fine at what they do, but it was no longer the best place we could fit in on the Golden Mile just for beer focus. So we did give them a wave. We could see them from. So the hybrid third stop, Trolley Stop and Lucky's, was enabled in part by. Ohio legalized what they call the DORA, the Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area, in 2020, in part as a pandemic measure. So we've got the district that you can grab a beer from a bar in a plastic cup, specially marked, and go wander around. And combine that with Out on Fifth, which closes the street to car traffic, and it's just a nice big block party. So we were wandering around and saying hi to people from various venues while we were in that area. It's very nice.
Love it.
That sounds great. I mean, traveling with a beer through DORA, the designated, so that's multiple, just to clear this up for me, that's like multiple bars have one big chunk of space where you can just like walk around and have a beer.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Think like all of New Orleans, but much smaller.
Okay.
So, like there's no open container. There is a rule, right? And that you have to have bought it in one of the participants in the DORA.
Right. Okay.
But apart from that, no, you're good. Just don't cross the line, and it's pretty clearly marked.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I now talking about the whole the DORA thing, and it was nice. That was a fun way to do it when we had several different bars that we could all sort of meet together for, especially with the whole deal with Lucky's and Trolley Stop. But I do have another note about Blind Bob's, even though we weren't able to go there. I mentioned last year coming back from the Cincinnati airport being very disappointed that they have like all these signs making it look like it's a craft beer bar, and it's nothing but the InBev stuff.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about the Dayton airport is I went to their Max and Irma's there during my first of all, there's like no wait for security, so I had lots of time to eat and drink before I got on the plane. And it was all InBev stuff except for one Warped Wing beer, and that was the Gamma Bomb IPA.
Oh,
so I had that one. And I looked on my Untappd to see where I'd had it before, and it turned out I had that very beer at the 2017 Golden Mile at Blind Bob's.
Oh,
And that was the first time that I learned that that Dr. Beer Nerd's name is a regional name because Dr. Bruce Banner did some of his experiments in Dayton. And that's why Warped Wing called it the Gamma Bomb.
I did not know that.
So,
was born here, according to Marvel canon.
So. Okay, that's what it was.
Yes.
He's born there. I couldn't
born
remember exactly what
at
it was.
A military base outside of Dayton, Ohio. Not named.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah. Couldn't be Patterson Air Force Base, but maybe.
Could be, but you can't print it, apparently. Or at least couldn't then.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
The Russians might be reading Marvel.
Praise be to the
Beervengers
canon.
may become canon now.
I know. We should get in there. We should talk to the fine folks at Marvel.
I don't want to let the Dayton story end just on the Golden Mile, because I had a really nice time hanging out with you and your wife at a couple of new Dayton breweries. Well, they're not new breweries, but they're new to Dayton. They have a new outpost there. One being Moeller's, and the one that was my favorite of the two, which was Little Fish, which I also posted one of those on Instagram. Had an incredible Mexican stout there. I would say overall, my whole feeling about the pastry stouts, I didn't encounter a lot of pastry stouts when I was in Dayton, and I was a little relieved. I think there might have been some around, but for the most part, it was all a little more traditional, barrel aged, that kind of thing. But yeah. Now, Doctor, where is Little Fish originally from? Are they from Athens?
Athens area. I think they're outside of the city proper. I haven't been able to confirm directly, but have from several sources that they are called Little Fish because Jackie O is the big fish in Athens. And a smaller brewery, they do more specialty kinds of stuff. So they were big into sours and aging a little bit before that wave swept the consciousness in general. Really consistently high quality, willing to pursue long ages and long ferments. Very happy to have. This is their first outpost outside of the original brewery, so
very cool.
Them very much.
Yeah, a very very welcoming environment, very friendly staff, and some really interesting food selections.
Yeah, kind of gastropubby is where they're going with their dining end is not pub grub. It's a meal or a very interesting small plate to pair with their beers.
Yeah, there's some nice tapas.
That's where I had is the style Shanti, the juniper beer. I have a feeling Shanti is wrong, but it's close.
It's Shanti.
As far as what you had, or
yeah.
Shati, which is is that the
yes,
yeah?
Thank you.
It's a Finnish beer, and it's flavored with juniper. Yeah, yep.
First one I've had, and it was kind of amazing. So many different flavors that were unfamiliar to me in a beer. It took a lot of time. Like just take a sip and go, well, where did that go? Oh, okay, honey that time, but also juniper. And I don't know, juniper and spruce are not far off. I'm a big fan of spruce flavors. It was in there, and then it leads to a little bit of wintergreen. It was just busy is an unfortunate way to describe it because that's often a criticism. It was layered, and I'm
complex.
Happy to have them. Yes, yeah.
The before hops became the dominant herb, it was always the herbs of the region, and that's certainly a Finnish thing, was to do the juniper, in the beer.
I will say the Mexican Imperial Stout I had. I'm not gonna. I'll try and pronounce it, but it's called something like Pinchque. which apparently is a Mexican slang for fucking asshole.
Ah,
So it's like perhaps something that might be said about you behind your back that
Pinche
it's sort of
is
an inside
usually,
joke among the staff.
Okay, well,
and
we won't get
so-
too
just like that,
All right.
we continue to re-earn our explicit label. Thank you, Captain.
Do we have an explicit label?
Well,
Oh,
thank you,
of
Sarah
course.
Jessica Parker.
Yes.
Well, and just like that, I just felt like we're doing
There
a
you go.
we're,
So
we're doing the all male Sex in the City reboot,
if I may, where
which everyone's been clamoring for.
Absolutely. That's just what we need.
Well, I'm told that it's supposed to be much like the Golden Girls. It's supposed to be 4 gay men. They're in secret. They're women, but it's a metaphor for 4 gay men.
I think that was true certainly about the original series. I don't know if they're. I don't know. Yeah, the same.
That's not where I expected to go just now, but
It will be the male reboot. That's exactly. But that's what the male reboot's going to be. So
Well, instead of going there, maybe we should go to where you went, because you went to somewhere in where I think there might be crabs. Not that you got crabs there.
Oh, I thought you were
no, not that you, anyway, talk about where you went, Huck.
yes, I did recently go to Baltimore, Maryland, which is where I went for the AZA conference, which is the zoo conference. So
Charm City.
I just hang out with zoo people. That's my thing.
and those zoo people drink.
Zoo people like to party, so there was some good parties. But on arrival on Sunday, we got in on a Sunday morning, took a red eye, and we arrived about 9:45, got to the hotel about 10 something, and then I had a 11:45 meetup to do a city brew tours.
Hey, look at that.
Yes, so right away. I got to really enjoy the city. We went to 4 different breweries. Mobtown Brewing, which was really a favorite. I really liked that a lot. They had some great beers there. I didn't talk about this already.
No,
It's
been a minute since we've heard your report, Huck.
We read some. We saw some of your notes on Instagram about it, but we want more details.
Was a favorite. Had a really nice dark lager there. I was saying how much I like the dark lagers. We also went to one called I don't know if you heard of this, Heavy Seas.
Oh,
And
that
Heavy
little
Seas,
place.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what we call old school.
Yeah.
Are actually around, even older than I thought. They opened in like 1998, so they've been around a
wow.
long time. And their facility was gorgeous. We got a nice tour of it. Big, they bottle, they can, and they still are selling their flagships. The Loose Cannon IPA is the original. We probably had it at Pony Bar back in the day.
Sure.
And yeah, really, I was really pleased with Heavy Seas. I went to another one called Checker Spot, which is right basically under the stadium, like in the shadow of the football stadium there. Really, really nice spot there. And we went to another brewery. At that point in the tour,
You've done well. Well, that's why you track it on Instagram. And if you're not following us,
a very nice beer restaurant where we were given shout out to City Brew Tours in Baltimore. They gave us some really nice food. Had cheese curds, fried cheese curds, and chicken wings, and a nice plate with a salad. There was a salad involved, and a flight of beer. So it was a very good tour there in Baltimore. I quite enjoyed it, and I just enjoyed the beer scene there overall. Was really nice. Nice beer bars. I mean, the city's rough. It's a rough town, especially the downtown where we were. I know there's like quote unquote nicer parts of Baltimore, but it's a tough place, tough town. But we definitely enjoyed ourselves and had a really nice tour there. RAR Brewing is one. I guess RAR.
Oh, they're good. Yeah.
I had the Manticote Nectar IPA. That was part of the zoo program. When we went to the zoo, they had all kinds of nice craft beer. And one of the beers I had, when you guys were doing your macro episode, I had a beer in Baltimore, which is called Natty Boh, which is the National Bohemian. And I said, I never had a National Bohemian. Let me have one. And I think I discovered what it is about the macros that I don't like. And it's that you take a sip with the Natty, and this is the Natty Boh. I'm like, And up front, you're like,
Yeah.
hey, this is okay. It's got I'm getting like some good bitterness. And then when you swallow it, that's where it's kind of sets in. You're like, oh, that's kind of gross. Like
Yeah.
it's a flatness or a sourness that happens at the finish on some of these beers. And you're just like, oh, I don't like that. And that's how I felt about the Natty Boh. I didn't even finish it.
Yeah.
But I did try it. I drank about half of it, so I didn't completely throw it out. But I had a Natty Boh, so that I had the full experience there in Baltimore. And I actually went to visit friends of mine in that lived there, and I went up to their house, and they were like, "We love this brewery. We had our wedding there, and they had these two babies, and they were just running around the house. But they were like, they wanted to party a little bit." So like, you want some beer? Because we got all these beers from the brewery here. And we had a few of the beers, and oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the brewery. I'm so sorry, but I enjoyed
That's all
beers
right.
from that particular brewery as well. So I definitely enjoyed the Baltimore experience overall. Went to the Baltimore Art Museum, which was really nice. The largest collection uh, of Matisse
Yes.
anywhere
Very exciting.
in the world. So I saw it's a really nice museum. Heavy Seas, Checker Spot, Mob Town. Maybe that's all we went to. It wasn't a fourth brewery because the fourth place was the bar where I had the nice food. So it was a really nice a nice trip beer wise for sure.
Do you remember who your guide was, so we can give them a shout out?
Yeah, it was Josh.
Josh. All right.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Excellent.
Yeah, nice young man. Yeah, Baltimore is a good spot for city brew tours. Definitely enjoyed that. There you go. I also had a lot of wine while I was there.
Oh,
yeah.
I actually had to. My job, which is not an actual job because my wife, she she goes to these conferences, and I actually was giving her a hard time because a lot of spouses don't go to these conferences. There's a lot of women that are in these zoo jobs, and you know how men are. Not us. We're pretty progressive men, but guys are like, I'm not going to that. I'm not going to be some third wheel, like that kind of character. So I think.
I was thinking the reverse there. I thought you were saying men like to go there without their spouses.
There's probably that too. But I'm saying a lot of the women
because Baltimore is renowned for its. Well, no, I won't say that.
Nope.
I don't know what it's renowned for. Honestly, you've opened my eyes in a huge way because most of the things I know about Baltimore comes from David Simon.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get another side.
Right.
Of
Well, to be honest, I did
also
get
have
the
never
David
heard of
Simon
the Block.
vibe.
You've never heard of
The Block? Never heard of it. Don't know what the thing about that in Baltimore doesn't ring any bells.
the Block?
Yeah.
No, you've stumped us all.
Was that
on
something you
that.
mentioned, Mike?
I
the
believe
Block?
this is humor.
I was just agreeing with the captain about things that we have not heard about Baltimore.
Yes.
Yes, but did you mention something called the Block?
I mentioned only that I've never heard of it because why would I? Why would anyone say that about Baltimore? That's my point.
Oh, they call it the Block. That's the nickname for Baltimore. The Block.
Okay. I got that vibe, and I got the
would
Wire
say
vibe.
Not all of Baltimore.
I got the Homicide vibe. It's definitely
Homicide, The Wire, and the most recent one, We Own This City.
We own the city.
I mean, it's called We Own This City, but since it's Baltimore, I think you have to pronounce it We Own This City.
We're gonna get so much hate mail from Baltimore.
Love the people of Baltimore.
Or hopefully they'll invite us.
I feel bad
to have beers with them.
They live in such a rough situation.
Well, but they also have the only Guinness factory in North America, which is very exciting.
That's actually in the city. You're right, and they make a lot of the.
That's cool.
I did have the Guinness Blonde while I was there. Wasn't crazy about it.
Okay, well,
but,
there you go.
But City Brew Tours goes.
We're
to
nothing
Guinness,
if not
but
honest
Not
here.
on my particular tour. They didn't go there that day. But we had a really nice time there. We went to the Baltimore Aquarium, which is actually the national aquarium. Because it's close to DC, the National Aquarium, very nice. Had some good beers over there, and the Baltimore Zoo itself is gorgeous. So we had a great time. We had a really nice time. Thank you, Baltimore.
Well, I feel I feel between my shared trip with the doctor and Huck's trip, we really need to hear more about Beer Wonders travel.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I, while Huck was coming to the East Coast, I was actually headed to the West Coast to this little town. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called Los Angeles, City of Angels.
I live close to there.
Yeah, like 3 hours.
4 hours away. But
Rings
Yeah,
a
4
bell,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah, you might have heard of it. Well, so like, okay, but I want to like pull the room here a little bit. Like, what are our thoughts on LA? Because it's a vibe, as the kids are saying these days.
As someone who's visited a couple times, I don't like it too much, but it's a great beer town. I will say that.
It is a very good beer town, yes.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay.
No,
All
I
right.
did
It's
not
good to
know.
know. I was not. I had one friend who moved there for a little while, and he was just very disappointed with it as a beer town compared to New York.
I might have just gone to the wrong places.
It has
Yeah.
been
It's a huge place.
12 years
biggest
since I've been
metropolitan
there.
area in the country.
Yeah, it's massive.
Sure.
It's been a bit. For
I mean,
you.
it's no San Diego.
Well,
I'm sorry.
What is
doctor,
San Diego?
The doctor was trying to get.
oh,
a
I'm
word
sorry.
in.
The doctor was speaking. I
Oh,
apologize.
it's my lingering impression, and it's been a good 12 years since I've been there. This is the only place I've ever been where locals will simultaneously tell you how important it is to love it and how much they hate it. Like one sentence, right? LA, we've got it all. We've got the coast, we've got the movies, we've got the stars, and the traffic is hell, and you can't buy anything, and there's nothing to eat, and it's like, what? Oh, please don't tell me both of these things. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Beer Wonder, tell us what was your impression?
Well, so I was here for multiple reasons. I was here for money provided opportunities. So people were paying me, which was lovely, to be there, which is always a great place. The flight was paid for. All that's lovely. And I transitioned immediately from that into a wedding that was happening in Calabasas. Now, if you know about the Kardashians, I was trying to feel very classy while I was there because, like, apparently that's where the Kardashians are all whatever. Yeah, I was staying at a place called the Good Night Inn, where it smelled like mold and a murder had been committed in my room. So really, I was living all of this up. Everything
Good night
about
with
it.
a K.
But you probably got a great deal for it on Priceline.
100%. Yes, absolutely. The wedding hotel was actually fully sold out, and so I had to find one that was within walking distance of the hotel because they had like they had like a shuttle that was going there, and we were going to be drinking that night naturally. So I wanted to be able to stumble home afterwards. It was a whopping 8 minutes away. I did see wildlife. I saw a coyote. It was thrilling. But I will say, for my friends who are getting married, Kate and Matt, congratulations. It was a lovely ceremony. They are not particularly beer people, so I was not expecting to be well cared for at this wedding. And I was pleasantly surprised because knowing that they were going to have some smart beer people there, myself included, they did decided to basically like have the beer portion of this cared for by our friends at Lagunitas. And I surprisingly found a Lagunitas beer that apparently is a core beer. It is an IPA. It is one I had never had. And really, it should be the Beer Wonders beer.
Oh, wow.
It really should be, because the beer is called the Hazy Wonder.
I don't think I've heard of that.
There you go.
You think you have heard of this?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell here.
Yeah, and I don't think you should have to go to California
I don't
to
think
get
so.
it. I'm outraged on your
I,
behalf.
I was honestly like, I was a little mad, but also kind of thrilled. Let's just say I have foggy memories of major parts of the wedding simply because of this beer. But just like a little bit of, just sort of, it is this lovely hazy IPA, which, as we all know, is like a favorite of mine. It's got a combination of 3 different hops. It is incredibly tropical and fruity. There's definitely cashmere and citra in there. I don't know what the third one was. And it's like not a beer that's gonna totally kill you. It's only a 6%er. So like you can drink enough of it and still have a pretty good buzz going on throughout that. So I wanted to like thumbs up to Lagunitas. Also let them know that, if you're looking to sponsor a beer cast, we have our friends at the Beer and Cheese Collective. But, if you wanted to throw me a case every once in a while, I'd be happy to continue to shout you out. I do feel like we have...
You would officially have co-sponsor status.
Exactly. I do feel like, the Beer Wonder, Hazy Wonder, like we could really make this happen. Okay, I feel like there's a symbiotic relationship that could happen, and honestly,
I see merch.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But I'm honestly a fan, and I'm gonna have to go looking for it in New York because as someone who does keep an eye out for the hazies, and even in slightly more like less crafty places, I loved it. I thought it was a really excellent beer.
I think you'll
And
find it.
I did have another beer adventure there. However, I did see that Huck's glass is empty, and it would be rude of me to deprive him
I'm gonna go real
of a
quick
second pour.
because I know
Mhm.
that we're running out of time. But this is called.
Well, we can notify
This
the
is called
affiliates.
Samuel Adams
We're going to
Boston
notify the
Lager.
affiliates. We're going to run
Yeah.
long.
This is
Oh.
my version
Sam
of,
Adams.
of the macro. Yeah. So I honestly, I still dig a Sam Adams. I really do. This is like going back to '87. On Martha's Vineyard was the first time I tried one, and I gotta say, I still dig it. I still dig a nice. It's a Vienna lager. It's a classic. It's got good color. It's great for our beer port. What do you call them? The job we have, because it has great head retention, and it's a lovely taste. And it's got and also I could buy it because it's one of our partners. But let me taste it.
Oh, just as good as you remember.
It's weird. It's just I like it. I like it. It's super drinkable. It's an easy finish. Good on you, Sam Adams. Still going.
All right. Well, as long as we're paused on your story, I think I'm going to do a second pour as well.
Oh my goodness.
This is the 4-pack I picked. When you and I met up at Evil Twin a couple of weeks ago, I picked up a 4-pack of their Sheridan Stout.
Oh, lovely.
Which is a coffee stout done in collaboration with the pub downtown in the financial district, the Dead Rabbit.
Oh.
All right. So
poor rabbit.
There we go.
All right.
There we
Dark
go.
as night.
And this is, I don't know, probably 10, 12%. I don't know. You know how I do. Let's just it's got a nice little picture of a there we go.
The glass, honestly, the glasses match as far as I'm concerned. It's beautiful, little like a little
I like that. The picture
sherry
of the
glass kind of situation. Yeah.
And that is their style to have photographs on the local cans. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's a little less sweet than some of the Evil Twin stouts they've been having out lately. It does still taste kind of like coffee with sugar,
okay,
but which isn't always my go-to when I'm having coffee. But I think it's quite delightful.
Okay.
All right, now part 2 of California.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you for pausing for us.
Well, no, I can't. We can't allow glasses to run dry. It's just it's not the Beervenger way.
I should say, like, how you doing there, Doctor?
Yes.
Do you need to go to your second pour at this point as well?
I just killed it, so I need 1 minute. I will be
Okay.
right back.
Well, I'll fill you in then on the rest of Los Angeles.
All right. Well, start the story, and when you're done with the story, then we'll get to the doctor's next.
Yes,
pour.
very important. So I did have a day sort of to myself when I saw a friend who, those of you who have seen my alter ego on Who Wrote This Shit, that little game show that is still on summer break. But Miles McGee, who also has an alter ego, My Leaky Faucet, his drag persona, I had a chance to go see.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know. I had a chance to meet both Miles and My Leaky during this adventure, which was pretty awesome. But prior to catching up with Miles on our first time, I was driving around the Miracle Mile section of downtown Los Angeles, which is a little rough and tumble, lots of restaurants, kind of a cute area. Worried that I was not going to be able to, based on my schedule, make it to a brewery. And as I'm driving down La Brea Avenue, lo and behold, what falls into my lap but the brand new, opened in 2021, All Seasons Brewing Company, which is right there on La Brea Avenue. Uh-huh. Now, this All Seasons Brewing is actually in an historic Firestone, like, tire shop. So it's a reconverted building.
Oh, okay.
And it is like a bar brewery combo. They've got a lovely 15-barrel system. They have a great taco stand on the inside where you can mix. It's a great indoor-outdoor seating thing. So like you could catch the lovely breezes and everything. And they had a pretty large selection. And I said, okay, brewery, obviously I'm going to stop. So I parked the car, which I was, doing, popped my head in and was like, let's see what these people get. And what I discovered is that their West Coast IPA was the GABF 2021 Bronze finalist.
Wow.
Less than 1 year on the market, and they're already winning awards for it. So naturally, I had to have it. It was the Bullet, and it was pretty great. Like, when you're in California, you are expecting a West Coast beer to be done correctly.
Yeah, it's alive and well out here.
Yep. And this was precisely what I was hoping that this beer would be. A lot of people kind of describe the bullet as like tasting like a pine tea. So there's like an intense dankness to it. There's a little bit of like citrusy, candied element, but it has a really floral finish. It's got all of that like chamomile piney situation that you want. Very dry, not an easy drinker. I mean, I believe it was like something around the 6%, maybe 7% range. So it's a hefty beer. It's the kind of thing that you kind of like want to drink slowly with dinner as opposed to knock back a couple of. And it's a good thing.
Not exactly crushable.
Not crushable. Although they do talk about how their beers are like their whole signature is that they want to be doing drinkable beers. This one I would not qualify as drinkable. This is one that you want to spend some time with. You want to get to know it. You want to like take it out on a good long date. Like you really like by the end of this thing, you're really feeling each other, right?
Eminently sippable.
Eminently sippable. Yeah, I know. It's very sexual. But I was and honestly, I was pretty sold. Like I knocked that one back, went off to go and enjoy seeing my Leaky perform. Way to go. Excellent shark number. It was a whole number to the Baby Shark song turned into other things. It was pretty excellent.
No.
I know I was initially triggered, but then I was intrigued, and also mildly turned on. But ultimately, I was going to say
a lot to experience along with a great beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I was a little kind of like shocked and surprised at All Seasons Brewing Company. I think their name is punny. I love their location. It's cool to be in this big converted space. There's skee ball. It's a beautiful spot in Los Angeles, big open bar, and they're making good beers. So should you find yourself in La La Land, in the Miracle Mile, and there's decent parking nearby, which I've learned in Los Angeles is a thing.
I love good parking. Yeah.
Yeah.
My ultimate desire with the place called All Seasons is a place that does not respect seasonal beer drinking.
Yeah.
That they have all seasons of beer drinking contained under one big previously Firestone occupied tire warehouse.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's our spring. Like, even have like the bar divided into spring, summer, winter, and fall. Just like have like, okay, here's the winter section, so we'll always like be fully stocked with the stouts there, and the other seasons will be there.
Good honestly, for you, Beer Wonder. I know some of your West Coast trips have been beerless, and you've got some. I know some good beers this time. Congrats.
It's been It was painful, but I was pleased to have both a hazy IPA and a West Coast IPA on my trip out to. And honestly, if All Season or Lagunitas feel the need to be involved in the Beervengers, I'm just saying we're here with open arms.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
I forgot to mention that my beer was also a medalist at the GABF in silver medal 2016 in the Baltic Border.
Excellent.
So there you go.
All right. Well, I think we've made we haven't Dr. wait too long for this next pour, so we want to have that pour, and we want to hear about your travels.
To be fair, I have had it before. It's another Warped Wing, the 10-ton stout. Named for the Warped Wing is in a former foundry, and there is a actual 10-ton crane, which that's the capacity. It was too much effort to remove, so it just hangs there above the brewing floor. And this stout is, I've had it many times before, so I can well describe it from memory. Classic oatmeal stout, not very sweet, very full-bodied, very rich, and up, for at 7%, it comes in at sort of the mid-range for what stouts might do. I would also like to take a moment to hope can we even see it? Yes, you can see it much better now.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
So this is a Golden Mile thematic.
The Brew Pub.
So that's in Colorado. I haven't been there, but friends and Golden Milers sent it from their visit. They stumbled upon it and said, "Look, we got a story for you." So.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. So speaking of all our various travels, you like the reason you were only drinking half of the Golden Mile is because you had a big trip the next day, and so let's talk about that.
Well, before we do though, I think that the Beer Wonders cup is empty.
Keep going. I'll use it as a transition.
Okay, fair enough.
To announce things. Yeah.
All right.
We'll cut this section out.
So I drove to.
Or we'll leave it in.
Yeah, we're fine.
I drove to Orlando in order to avoid flying. On balance, I'm not sure what would have been more annoying. I think I won for the drive.
Probably.
But it was professional for my secret identity day job, and as a result, not terribly exciting from a beer venging point of view. Um,
Mm.
Stayed in one of the resort hotels. I don't want to mention their name because I've got they were quality, but clearly taking all the money they possibly could from any convention that wanted to be there. So anything that wasn't sponsored was ruinously expensive. I bought one beer on my own while there, a Cigar City Maduro, which I quite like, um, but
That's a good one.
it was $20. So
Oh
Jesus.
God, that's
yeah,
rude. That
yeah,
honestly, that makes me hurt.
it
That's
was
painful.
Florida, no less.
that was the mandatory gratuity on top of the
Ugh.
just ruinous price. I was like, okay, I guess this is my only one.
Oh
So
gosh.
um,
Better be good.
The mouse takes his whatever. I was
Mouse
couldn't
takes his
take the toll.
cheese.
yeah,
That didn't.
it
Mouse takes your
it
cheese. Yeah.
wasn't even that one. It was just very close to
Oh,
mouse.
okay.
So and also
When you said it was like resort property, I just
yeah,
assumed.
no, it's it, yeah, and also because of the nature of the event, very little opportunity to get away from that. I did on the way out pick up some things to bring home, including a pretty sizable cigar at his City Hall. I have a friend who's a big fan, so look forward to tasting the Good Gourd, which is their pumpkin squash fall thing, seasonal release.
Oh,
Mm.
I actually saw that one at the Blind Tiger a couple of days ago. I didn't get it because they always have such a wonderful menu, but I thought about getting that one, and hopefully I will before the season is
We'll
out.
have to compare notes after we've each had it.
Yeah.
And on the macro theme, I brought back a 12 pack of 4 flavors of hard Mountain Dew, which is the most Florida thing I had ever seen. So I
That's
thought I'd bring it
correct.
home. Yes,
That
and now
yeah.
I'm going to offend Florida as I did Baltimore. I'm sorry to Baltimore.
Florida deserves it more.
Orlando is
Yeah.
a weird
I mean,
place.
I'm sorry.
Right
I,
now,
I,
it's not.
actually, I mean,
We can't.
this is
We can't be mean to Florida right now because like Hurricane Ian.
They're
and
really
stuff.
having a hard time, and
Yeah.
yeah. Well, fortunately, all the immigrants are safe in Martha's Vineyard right now, so we're
We can be mean to
have that.
DeSantis all we want. That fucker can go jump
we
into
go. Yes.
jump into Ian's eye and get tossed up around by that. But the people in Florida, they're going through some shit right now. So
Sure.
props to you.
and also let me count myself fortunate to have well, it wasn't like right in front of the storm front, but the path was crossed right where I was, and
Oof.
that's no way to be a visitor, right? That kind of resourcing and $20 beers. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, glad to have escaped it, and sympathy and best wishes for all those who are stuck there. So.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well,
All right. So
Except
now I think
DeSantis.
you've got a
Sorry,
second pour.
no best
Oh
wishes.
yes. Except yeah. Fuck that guy.
yeah, fuck that guy. But here's the thing.
Fuck that
So
guy.
I do have a second pour, which I know is a rarity for Beer Wonder,
All
but
right.
it is a harbinger of things to come. This is provided to us by our dear
Okay.
friends at City Brew Tours /Unboxed Experiences. It is the Williston, Vermont's Goodwater Brewing Company O Fest Marzen style beer. Does anybody
Very
here
nice.
want to tell them why I might be besides the fact that we're right in the middle of Oktoberfest, happy Oktoberfest, everybody, why I might be wanting to drink this beer? I feel like we have a Beervengers announcement we should mention here.
So yeah, you're not just drinking it because we are in the prime midst of Oktoberfest season, and lots of, in fact, a lot of places. This will be too late by the time this comes out, but the Beer and Cheese Collective is having their own Oktoberfest thing to on Friday night, sponsored by Torch and Crown, with a Stein hoisting contest and everything. But I think we're going somewhere else anyway. But I'm sure that'll be a wonderful event. But really, what's happening is that the Beervengers, to celebrate 2 years of our podcast, we'll say that's the reason we're going.
Sure, I'll take that.
Good a reason as any. Is we are going on the Beervengers European vacation.
Yes, a research trip.
Where,
research trip.
A research trip, to be sure.
Yes.
Where you, myself, Huck, Cider Girl, and a couple of other Beervengers, one who is named, one is yet to be named.
Correct.
All 6 of us are doing a tour, a beer tour of Belgium and Germany, starting in Bruges, working our way down, eventually getting to Munich by the end. And so you probably won't hear one of these again for about a month or so, because it's but that's what you have to look forward to, is the And I would say keep looking at our Instagram
Mhm.
because we expect to have plentiful posts on there to show you our progress, give you a little taste of everything that's going on there.
Very true. And
Um,
as is our way, Huck has already made some important plans for additional research outside of our tour route, from what I understand.
Absolutely. Got at least one beer crawl plan for the city of Bruges, and
Gesundheit.
hopefully another plan for München, which is Munich,
Hmm.
and
We've heard of them.
Right.
possibly Bamberg as well.
Mm.
In Bamberg, we get the Rauchbier.
Ooh.
Yes.
Which
Rauch
literally
beer.
translates to
I look
smoked
forward to going to
beer.
the
So
source
we are
for
going
that,
to
yeah.
really, I can't wait to get a draft Rauchbier.
Mhm.
That's just a dream of mine to get it right out of the tap. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so nice. And that's going to be fun.
And there's one. I think in Bruges we've got sort of a beer pairing dinner
Mhm.
there,
Oh.
which should be a whole lot of
Yep,
fun.
we've got a class, a cooking class.
We're going to be
which will
going
fun.
to the Delirium Brewery. And we're going like the whole thing is about beer. That's what's crazy is like every stop we make is either there's a couple of wine stops, which is nice as well.
Yeah.
But I mean this tour is going to be about beer. So I mean,
And
What I love
it's
is
like we're gonna do some history and whatnot. But oh my gosh,
I also want to apologize to the rest of the people on the tour in advance because
no.
because we're
They
going to
don't know what
be
they're getting
the best
into.
people you can be on this tour with, and also we might be a little exhausting, and you're just going to have to like roll with the punches because
we are literally
They,
50% of this tour.
we are
We're 50%
as
of the
it
people
should
on
be.
this
The
tour.
Beervengers
Yeah,
are representing.
Yep. And
So-
I think that they're going to be happy to be with us. They're going to be like, wow, these guys were just.
I think by the end of
so
it, they
fun
will
to
all
be
have
around,
Beer
so.
Avenger names as well.
Probably, we'll have to have
agree.
them on the
They
Beercast.
will- and if they're not, then they weren't that fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's going to be a blast.
I have to say, as one
Um,
not going, although I could have, that this is not by any means the only trip any of us have ever been on where it was all about beer. It's just one where somebody
True.
else offered it to you, and you could take it and join with groups of other people. So that's kind of this expanded universe, if you will.
That's true. We're expanding the Beervenger universe, just like Marvel has done over and over and over again.
Well, Cider Girl and I have traveled with this company several times. Go Ahead Tours is who we're going with. And they do great. They do Europe really well. I had never done a beverage tour with them. It's always more culture, but they do a great job, and I think it's going to be delightful the whole time. We're just going to have such a nice time.
Yeah,
and it's great because she and I have taken tours with her mom and a couple of other family members, but to go with other friends, that's just it's going to be a blast. It's going to be such a blast. We're going to have such a nice time.
I love the fact that, of course, they're doing most of the curation, but you're doing curation in addition to. I feel like I really love the fact that all they have to do is show up, and there'll be stuff to do the whole time through. Because every once in a while, we're like, I don't plan enough. I don't know what to do today, but I think everything.
Well,
I think we will have no shortage of activities.
Agreed.
I did have a plan in München, which is Munich, because we arrive at some point, and I'm like, there's a sort of a free evening, so I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. And I had this little route planned out. Come to realize that night is a Monday, and Monday some things close. So I was like, wait a minute, these 3 places that I plan on going, they're all closed.
No.
Oh no!
It's like, no.
I'm sure we'll find something to do.
So I did deeper research. So I found other places. So depending on the time we get in, we'll definitely hit some spots, no doubt.
Outstanding.
The issue with going to Germany, I don't know if you've been, like in Belgium, it's going to be all about variety. There's going to be so many different styles and different tribes. But you get to Germany, it's like some bars you go to, they'll have like 3 choices.
But hopefully they'll all be good.
Well, and
they'll all be, and it'll be like specific to like. Well, last time I went there, it was like you go to some restaurant, just some random restaurant, and that restaurant will have one beer sponsor.
Oh, okay.
And they won't have any other styles in the place. So it'll be culturally interesting to try that. Although I did find a beer bar that's close to our hotel in München, so we might be able to hit that. It's like more of an American craft style. though they will have German beers. Yeah, so yeah,
I
mean,
will
it's gonna
always.
be an
I
adventure.
make
It's
sure to
gonna be a good
regularly
time.
check beer menus because it's amazing what you can actually find everywhere when you do that. That's where I found my first BrewDog pub in near the Coliseum in Rome.
I remember in Italy, that's where your first one
Uh,
was.
I know that
which is,
you and Father Brownstown have done several travels together. So you. I mean, don't just rely on me. Come up with your own thing as well, because I know you can find those good spots as well.
And I will say,
well,
But
it'll
yeah,
all be a group
have a couple-
effort.
I'm doing a bit of a pre-adventure myself with an
Oh, yeah, tell us about
unnamed
that.
Beervenger to be, who might be related to me in Amsterdam, where I have learned just recently that I'm staying in a 1610 canal house, and that Beervenger to be, who's already there, has already been doing important on the ground research and has discovered
Excellent.
a
Yeah.
number of useful research venues very close to where we're living. So I'll be sure to report back on the Amsterdam beer scene, because obviously there's more than Heineken, although I hear the Heineken there is actually better than the Heineken here.
There's definitely more than Heineken.
Yeah.
There's some really good. There's a place called Beer Temple, which I went
Praise
to
it.
recently, which is a really nice American style. They actually have a lot of American beers there. But that's a really good spot. But there's a lot of nice beer bars in the city of Amsterdam. So yeah, you're gonna
And
enjoy
just
that.
like Baltimore, none of us have heard anything unsavory about Amsterdam.
Absolutely.
Nothing whatsoever.
Just much
no.
like Baltimore.
Well, the only unsavory thing about Amsterdam, I mean, I'm sure there's other things, but is the bike riders. They're very aggressive.
Okay, so not when drunk.
If you're standing in a bike path, don't do that. The Amsterdam people, they're very friendly. They're super friendly until you're standing in the bike path. Then they are vicious. They will scream at you. Yeah, they it's a lot of bike riding. Yeah, so just be aware of that.
Beer Wonder,
Stay
with
on the
regard
side.
to the whole Heineken thing, I highly recommend the Heineken experience.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's actually a really
They don't actually brew the beer there anymore, but they brew it nearby. Yeah, you're right. It's still a better Heineken than we get here, but it's my favorite part about the Heineken experience was you get 3 beers.
Oh, okay.
Evenly spaced out through the whole thing. It's like it's something you would never see in America. You're like, oh, we'll give you one to begrudge you that. And
Right.
but so it's almost like Heineken. They thought like, well, we want to let people get a little bit of buzz if they want to, but we also don't want it to get too out of control. So 3 sounds fair for everyone to like enjoy all of that.
Well, we're in a beer drinking culture, which is an important thing, and I'm sure that we will have plenty of important research to report back when we return.
We certainly shall. I do want to mention, I know Huck has to get off to his brewery, but I want to mention a couple of things.
Yes.
First of all, R.I.P. Do you remember that bar we went to with the petting zoo in the backyard on our trip of the East Village?
Oh yes,
You know
yes.
there were rats.
With the rats.
There were rats
Yes,
in the
exactly. I
backyard.
recall that. Yes.
Unfortunately, otherwise it was a wonder. Well, actually, they weren't.
No,
They were hiding in the bushes. We could hear them rustling
I know.
around. Had a wonderful Mexican Westbrook Mexican stout there. Unfortunately, they have ceased to exist.
That is sad.
So I'm glad we got that
What
one
was
last
the-
trip there.
Very true.
Remember the name of it?
Also, I know I talk a lot about the Phoenix Bakehouse, where I get that wonderful sourdough bread with beer in it.
Yeah.
I've got some bad news about them.
No.
The woman who makes it is pregnant.
That's not.
Oh, I said that wrong. I should have said
Well-
good news and bad news. Okay, I have good news and bad news about the Phoenix Bakehouse. Which one do you want to hear first?
It's an unwanted child.
Obviously, the bad news.
No. That's not. Please.
Bad news first.
No. No. Oh, the bad news first.
We got to end
Oh,
this
the
on a
bad news
positive,
is-
guys.
No, we okay. Yes, we will. Which you've already actually heard the good news, so I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is they are going to be ceasing operations for the next several months at least. And the good news is it's because she's pregnant and it's become a little too physically difficult for her. So we look forward to having that wonderful sourdough bread again sometime in the future.
Muscle tough.
And the last thing I want to mention is that even though you'll be hearing this too late to go to the Beer and Cheese Collective's Oktoberfest Stein hoisting competition, you will hear this in time to go to their annual beer Boss Lady Brews.
Yes.
Which is happening. That is happening on October 15th. and unfortunately, we will be missing that because we will be in Europe when all that's going on. But so that we need all the Beervengers out there to go to the Boss Lady Brews on October 15th and get back to us and tell us what we missed.
Yes, do our research for us, y'all.
And,
Very important. And also make sure that you're
I,
following along with us on all of our social medias. The best one to check out, of course, is the Instagram at thebeerventures.com. You can also go to thebeerventures.com to check out the blog and all posts. And of course, email us at thebeervengers@gmail.com. The best way to get in touch with us and tell us all of your feelings. And if you email us, I'm pretty sure we'll read about it on the air. Is that right, Captain?
I absolutely. I in fact, if you don't, we might even make some things up.
Probably true.
You never can tell. All right, and I can see Huck is clutching his powerful uke there. He's going to play us out. Thanks, everyone.
Bulk.
Thank you, Incredulous Bulk, Dr. Beer Nerd. Come back anytime.
Always a pleasure, and certainly will. Thank you.
And now, let's see. Okay, yeah. So now Huck is going to play us out. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time, and we'll have a lot to tell you about our wonderful travels.
Very true. Play us out, Huck.
With the Beervengers, Beervengers, Beervengers.
We're the Beervengers.